Hey there! By the time dinner rolls around in the evening, a lot of us just don't have the time or energy to make an extravagant dinner. So today I will be sharing 5 new dinners with you that come together in only 10 minutes or less. These dinners are a total time saver. They have simple ingredients and they are just super delicious. Let's get to my kitchen now and let's get to cooking. To kick us off today, we are making this Philly cheesesteak pasta. Over to my cutting board, I'm going to start out by cutting up my vegetables, 8 ounces of white mushrooms, a yellow onion, and a green bell pepper. Over to the pan on my stove, I have a tablespoon of hot olive oil in there. Then I added all those vegetables in. I'm also going to be adding in a pound of ground beef right now, or you could use ground chicken or ground turkey or any meat substitute. Just break this ground beef up and cook it through at this point. Now over to this pot of boiling water, I'm going to add in 8 ounces of rotini pasta. I found that rotini pasta cooks very quickly, so just cook it according to the package instructions. Now we're going to work on the Philly cheesesteak sauce now. So into this bowl, I added 2 tablespoons of water and a tablespoon of cornstarch. Give it a good whisk. This is going to help thicken the sauce up. Now add in a can of French onion soup along with a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Give this a really good whisk and I could basically just drink this sauce. It really is that good. It is just like so flavorful. But now that my ground beef is cooked through and the vegetables are nice and tender, add this sauce right in there and give it a little stir. And then once my pasta was cooked through and tender, I just strained the pasta. Then I added the pasta into that pan. Next, if you're a provolone cheese fan, add 3 slices of provolone cheese in, or you could use any cheese you like, or just don't add the cheese in. Give this a stir, let it simmer for a couple of minutes to thicken up the sauce and melt the cheese down. Here's what dinner looks like. This is not your average pasta dinner. This Philly cheesesteak pasta is so unique and delicious. If you're a Philly cheesesteak fan, you are absolutely going to love this one. Plus, my husband said this was one of his favorite dinners in a little while, so that says something. Now we are making this pepperoni pizza pasta salad. So to this pot of boiling water, I'm adding in 16 ounces of rotini pasta. Cook it according to the package instructions, and I'm using rotini just because it cooks so quickly. It cooks for me in about 8 minutes. Now to this cutting board, I sliced 10 ounces of cherry tomatoes, I cubed 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese, and I just cut 6 ounces of pepperoni into smaller pieces. Now that my pasta is tender, I just strained it over my sink, and I'm going to rinse it with super cold water to cool this pasta down. I'm doing this so we could serve the pasta salad immediately. We don't have to wait for the pasta to cool down. But I added that cooled pasta into this large bowl. Next, add in a teaspoon of dried oregano, a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, then a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Next, add in the tomato, cheese, and pepperoni that we just cut up. Also, if you want to add in black olives, artichokes, bell peppers, onions, or really any other pizza toppings that you love, you certainly can. Go ahead and make this your own. But then I added in a cup and a half of Italian salad dressing. I used the Olive Garden Light brand, but you could use any brand that you love. This pasta salad has quickly jumped to one of my favorite pasta salads. It is so unbelievably good. Also, it comes together in no time at all. It is super flavorful and delicious. Also, if my voice sounds a little different, I have a cold right now, so I apologize. Now we are making this one pot ham tortellini. So to this pot on my stove, I'm adding in a tablespoon of olive oil, then add in 1 yellow onion that you diced, along with a tablespoon of minced garlic and 16 ounces of diced ham. Cook this on a high heat to sear the ham. This is going to add so much flavor to the ham. You want to kind of make it like a golden brown color on the outside. This will take a few minutes, but now that it is golden brown on the outside, just add in 1 cup of chicken broth and scrape all those flavorful bits off the bottom of the pot. Next, you are going to want to add in your 18 ounces of refrigerated cheese tortellini, then add in another cup of chicken broth, then add in a half a cup of heavy cream and give this a stir. Let this simmer on your stove for about 4 to 5 minutes. The tortellini only needs about 4 minutes to cook, but just let it cook for a few minutes until the tortellini is tender. Once the tortellini is tender, add in a 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese and 1/3 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. Let the cheese melt down and then you could serve this up. I know it's super common to cook your tortellini with chicken, but if you've never tried it with ham, I definitely recommend you doing that. Not a lot of people cook tortellini with ham, so you should give it a try. I'm sure you're absolutely going to love it as much as we do. Also, ham is very affordable, so this is just a delicious, rich dinner. Now we are making this broccoli panko orzo. This one is for all of my meatless meal friends because this is meatless meal. But after I diced my yellow onion and I cut up 1 head of broccoli over to this pan on my stove, I added in a tablespoon of butter, and once my butter melted down, I added in a tablespoon of minced garlic along with the diced onion and broccoli. Next, add in 1 cup of dry orzo. If you don't normally cook with orzo, it's kind of like a mixture between rice and pasta. It's really good. Then I added in 2.5 cups of chicken broth along with a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper, and then a teaspoon of paprika and oregano. Give this a stir and bring it up to a simmer. Let this simmer covered for about 8 minutes, stirring it occasionally until the orzo is tender. But I'm going to work on the panko mixture while this is simmering away. This panko mixture is optional, but it is so good. To this little pan, I added in 3 tablespoons of butter. Once it melted down, I added in 3/4 cup of Italian style panko breadcrumbs. You want to make sure you use the Italian style ones just because they have so much more flavor. If you use the regular panko breadcrumbs, just add seasoning to it. Once my panko breadcrumbs were a golden brown color, after a couple minutes, I added in 3/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Give this a stir and then set it to the side. Back over to my orzo. If you think the orzo needs a little bit more liquid, add in 1/2 cup more chicken broth at a time until your orzo becomes tender. Now that it is to the tenderness that we like it to be, just add that panko mixture in. I did save a little bit in the pan to just sprinkle on top, but give this a stir and then you could serve this up. I'm not even going to try to hide this, you guys. I ate 2 plates full of this dinner just because it was that good. That crunchy panko topping is absolutely perfect. This is so rich, flavorful, and divine. It is absolutely phenomenal. You need to try this meatless meal. Now we are making these cheesy chicken taquitos. So into this big bowl, I'm adding in my 5 ounces of softened cream cheese. Make sure you soften yours in the microwave for a little bit so you could stir it. Then I added in 1/2 cup of salsa. Use any salsa that you like. Then 3 cups of cooked shredded chicken along with 1/3 cup of sour cream. Then add in 1 cup of Mexican style cheese. This is your taquito filling and it is so good. Give it a stir just to combine all the ingredients together until it looks like this. I'll set it to the side. On my plate right here, I placed a wet paper towel over the plate and then I added about 18 corn tortillas over the paper towel. Cover it tightly with the paper towel and then microwave it for about 2 minutes. This adds moisture to the tortillas and prevents them from cracking and crumbling while you try to roll them. But then place a scoop of that chicken filling inside each corn tortilla and then tightly roll it up. You could either spray the tops of your taquitos with a little bit of oil spray and bake them in your oven, or to a pan on your stove, add in 1/3 cup of olive oil, or you could use vegetable oil or any oil that you'd like. And then to test your oil to make sure it is hot, just add in a little piece of the tortilla, and once it is like bubbling up, you know your oil is hot. But add your taquitos in and make sure you don't overcrowd your pan. Let them cook on each side for about 2 minutes or until they're golden brown, and I am lightly covering the top with a little bit of foil. This will help prevent from oil from like splattering everywhere. If you have an oil guard, you could just use an oil guard, but foil also works super well. Once your taquitos are nice and golden brown on each side, just remove them to a plate lined with paper towels to absorb any excess oil and set them to the side. Then repeat this process for all of your taquitos. Here's what these look like plated up. You could top yours with anything that you could think of. We topped ours with a little bit of sour cream, lime, diced tomatoes, and avocado. These are perfectly crispy on the outside. They're like oh so crispy, but the inside is so cheesy and delicious. You need to try this one. You don't want to miss the next video, so make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you there. Bye for now.